interested in, and I'm working with the Salvation Army, but I think there's a lot more needs to be done.
You say the clubs could always do more. How good a job are clubs doing now in dealing with problem gamblers who use the clubs?
Yeah, I think they certainly have made significant ways forward in terms of that. They acknowledge they have to do something about that. They've done it, whereas others are still talking about it.
Advocates of action by the clubs say the problem is going worse. There are 90,000 problem gamblers that contribute a significant amount of the club's poker machine revenue. Are you saying that the problem is actually being reduced by the clubs?
Absolutely. They certainly have gambling programs for gamblers, and they've got really credible organisations working with them on that. So they certainly are doing something about problem gamblers.
What are you getting in return from the clubs for providing your standing, your prestige, your name, your words and your face for their campaign?
Yeah, I guess people would say, I receive a lot of funding from clubs. 2%, literally 2% of our budget is covered by clubs and clubs. We, the clubs and clubs went to the wall, we would certainly survive. Because it's only 2% of $22.5 billion, so it's not a significant amount. I guess injustice bugs me no end that this one man has all this power. I just don't think that's credible. I don't think it's just.
So Andrew Wilkie is the reason you're doing this?
Absolutely, as Bob Carr was 10 years ago when I led the rally against with state government at that time because there was no ransom grab for cash. That's just not just at all.
Can you just clarify the numbers you gave me? I got confused. Did you say you're receiving how much from the club?
We received 2% of our budget, which is $22.5 million. So really not a big amount. As I said, we wouldn't go to the wall if this went through.
So you get some hundreds of thousands of dollars from the clubs on those figures?
Yeah, I wouldn't have an exact amount, but certainly with the over the years, we've certainly got 500,000 over 5 years from Maryland RSL Plaza. Yeah, so we certainly get hundreds of thousands over the years, certainly. But as I said, in the big picture, it would be about maybe 300,000 each year, which in the big picture is not a lot of money. So about 300,000 per year from pubs and clubs.
Some might say you're receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is 2% of your budget from the clubs. You're returning the favour. What would you say to that?
No, I've been on this bandwagon. This isn't just a new thing I've done. I've been doing this for 15 years. Defending random politics. I just don't like politicians who will cut funding to me, as Chris Nolan did the other day, halve my funding for something because it gets out in budget. And I said, well, you're $3 billion over budget. So where's the randomness is just crazy. And we only get 35% government funding, whereas most organisations get 90 to 100%. So no one owns me, and I have to say that really clearly. And I've been in this fight for 15 years with random politics that just randomly go out and attack pubs and clubs. They've got to do it in a just way, and they've got to make sure they go out there with a platform rather than just letting one man exert his power.
Chris Riley, thanks very much.
Okay, no worries, thank you.
The politics of Sydney youth worker Father Chris Riley, as explained to ABC News Radio's Marius Benson, and he was on a bit of a dirty line there, having pulled over in his car. We'll talk driving and what the music you listen to should mean to the way you drive. That's next.
Have your say on the ABC News Radio web poll.
The web poll question today.
Web poll question.
We want your opinion on the big story.
33% say yes.
67% say no.
Log in now and have your say.
To have your say, go to the website
abc.net.au.
abc.net.au/News Radio.
and follow the prompts.
ABC News Radio's web poll.
Have your say.
Have your say.
Have your say now.
Head to the website and you'll find a whole lot of extra information, on-air links, news, business news from the world, all around Australia, and much audio that you might have missed if you come in late to any of our programs. A great resource. abc.net.au/News Radio. Well, can the music you listen to affect the quality of your driving while you're in the car? You might be listening when Aretha Franklin comes on the radio and you get a bit more excited. You might be otherwise sitting back and listening to a Mozart piano concerto perhaps, and suddenly your whole mood changes. Does that affect what you do in the car, and how does the music we listen to have an effect on our driving? Well, apparently yes. New research has found loud music can reduce reaction times by 20%. The BBC's Graham Satchell found.
car change the way you drive? If you listen to classical music, for example, are you less likely to have an accident than someone who listens to pop? Or what about someone who listens to rock music? A survey of 2,000 drivers by the polling company Populus suggests that what we're listening to in our car does influence driving behaviour. Rock fans, for example, are more likely to experience road rage. 67% of rock fans admit to swearing or gesturing at other drivers. 31% have been involved in a minor accident. Classical music listeners, on the other hand, are the least likely to speed, to tailgate, and to lose their cool with other drivers. 42% of motorists listening to classical music say they found driving relaxing. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is all too obvious. Of course, if you're listening to Mozart, the music itself is calming, and you're probably an older driver. Speeding fines. So, if you want a safe drive home this Christmas, and you believe the experts, forget the head-banging, try a bit of Mozart instead.
Just keep flipping those channels till you found one you like, or in fact, let's stay right where you are, because we'll keep the tempo pretty even. John Barron conducting things in the next few minutes. Wherever you are listening to us, keep doing so. Coming up, it's time to check the traffic conditions around Australia. I'm not sure what music Paul Latter from the Australian Traffic Network listens to, but he'll be able to tell us what the circumstances are in just a moment. To many of us, the enjoyment of music is an essential part of living. So how do you experience music? Let us know by taking part in the survey. We want to get a better sense of what music means to you, both here on ABC Radio and through some of the new ways you're listening. The ABC National Music Survey. Find a link at abc.net.au/radio. Nicely timed. Let's have a look at what's happening on the roads near you. All the latest now from the Australian Traffic Network's Paul Latter.
Thanks, Glenn. Looking towards Brisbane, the rain is everywhere. But we've only got 2 accidents, which is a huge surprise. The nose to tail on the Western Freeway inbound. Oh, it's about a K before the Mount Cootha roundabout to Wongalay, the back to Boggle Road. There's the right lane is temporarily locked. At Callanvale, though, there's the road outbound at Honeysuckle Way. We still have that accident as well. On the majors, suffering because of the wet weather, but no further incidents. Now, just about to drop down if you're around the Coolangatta area, if you're just across the border. Gold Coast is okay in terms of accidents and breakdowns. We don't have any, but again, the wet weather's going to slow you down appreciably. Not too bad as you do the run around Newcastle as we head to Sydney. A lot of problems today. It went miserable around about 6:30. Engadine, Pincoat Road, Forum Drive, still closed in both directions due to an accident. We've had a truck overturned carrying scrap metal at Chullora. Rookwood Road is north of Brunker Road. The lane configuration has been changed. The local road crews have done an excellent job to get you through, but there are extensive delays in both directions irrespective. After a crash on the M5 westbound of River Road and South Sideline, delays are back towards the M5 East Tunnel, and a soil spill at Burwood westbound Parramatta Road heading up the hill of Burwood Road in the middle lane. Canberra's had an excellent Wednesday morning. We continue towards Melbourne, and we'll start with an accident on the eastern freeway. Truck and 2 cars. One lane is blocked, and the Chandler Highway delays are extensive. You've got about a 2K delay. The West Gate stop sign all the way through to the Kingsway this morning, and the lights are out at Bundoora, plenty across Grimshaw. Looking across towards Adelaide, Harfield Gardens, an accident, Salisbury Highway and Kings Road, both directions suffering, but T-car traffic not too bad about town. And looking across towards Hobart, Davey Street is choking up going through Argyle Street outbound. Southern Outlet, still a fair bit of traffic in both directions. as you make your way into town, especially at Hobart. But again, no accidents, no breakdowns coming through. I'm Paul Latter, more ABC News Radio traffic in half an hour.
Thank you, Paul. We'll see you then. Good morning, John Barron with you on this Wednesday morning. It's the 7th of December, 9 o'clock Eastern Summertime, 8:30 in Adelaide. In Brisbane, 8 o'clock, 7:30 in Darwin. Confirmed now at 6 a.m. This is ABC News Radio. And among the stories we're following for you this morning, the federal government calling on the major banks to pass on yesterday's interest rate cut in full. More than 50 people killed in twin suicide attacks in Afghanistan, and hundreds arrested during opposition protests in the Russian capital, Moscow. Those stories and more are coming up. Today's capital city weather in brief. Mostly sunny in Melbourne and Adelaide. Cloudy in Canberra today. Showers, even storms possible. The other capitals at some point. All the details next quarter out after a check with business and finance and the sport and fitness below. The federal government is calling on the major banks to pass on the Reserve Bank's interest rate cuts in full. Jamie Burnett reports.
The RBA yesterday dropped the cash rate by 0.25% to 4.25%, but so far none of the big four banks have followed suit despite increasing